this space that we're in is just a fraction of the totality of everything. And it's so opening. Yes, the creativeness allows you to open up a higher consciousness and to realize that there is just one.
Masterful Leaders for men building business, family, and self. Hosted by Shimshon Mir Frankel.
Today's guest is a master of building enduring value across completely different spectrums of life. On one hand, he's a heavy-hitting partner at Creation Partners in Los Angeles, managing complex asset classes, acquisitions, and strategic investments. On the other hand, he's a father, an author, and the founder of Hello, My Beautiful World, a global media and social action company designed to give children the psychological tools to build self-love, empathy, and inner peace. He operates with a single guiding thesis: people are the absolute foundation of everything in business and our world. He's here to share how to balance peak commercial execution with deep human connectivity. Adam, welcome to Masterful Leaders.
Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here and to speak with you, as you are such a guiding light and so many things that you do in all areas of life. So it is an absolute pleasure to be here with you.
I'm simply a reflection.
I love that. I love that. Yeah.
As are the Jewish people, right? We are equated to the Lavana, to the moon. So we are just reflecting that beautiful light, that great light that Hashem has granted the world.
100%. We're a mirror like our relationships with our spouses and our children, and we are a mirror for the world. When we're doing right, it seems like other people want to do right too, and it's something beautiful. It's what we've been given. We don't even have a choice. It is something that we just must do.
Yeah, a duty or a task that we have to
For
attend to.
sure. For
Right?
sure.
Adam, let's start with business. You've spent nearly 2 decades navigating the highly competitive commercial real estate markets of Beverly Hills and Los Angeles, and now as a partner at Creation Partners. You
Yes.
constantly advocate that people, not just the properties, are the foundation of everything. How does a high performing leader transition from just looking at metrics and assets to executing with a long term ownership mindset built entirely on human relationships?
I think everything comes down to one principle, and that is, how do you benefit people, your community, the neighborhood, the city, beyond that? And when you're looking at specifically at, physical, tangible properties, is, how do you bring something in present into the future while it continues to add a benefit to the surrounding areas, and how do you keep it healthy, right? And that's, you know deferred maintenance, things on a very tangible level, but it's a reflection onto the world, so while any deal, any space, any project, my focus is always on, how are you going to benefit this world? How are you going to benefit the community? If you want to sustain tenant or tenants, or you want to have longevity in everything, you have to think beyond those, to your point, the word metrics, and think about, what is it going to bring? How is it going to enlighten this world? And that's across every aspect. And I think that the really healthy and successful developers, landowners, understand that. The ones who last understand, how do you take care of the people that are within your buildings, that are within your framework, that work for you, that maintain it. Again, it is about the human experience, and you can't just have a property without humans. I guess with data spaces and things like that, there's little human interaction, but for the most part, the human being is the foundation of everything. And it's across all spectrums. but highly in tuned and interacted with property.
You think it's quantifiable? Can it really come down to numbers and
I
metrics?
th- I think that you want to believe it is, um, in this world, but the truth is, in my opinion, that the successful properties are successful because they are inherently fulfilling that duty of human experience, right? Whether it's an apartment building or an office building or an industrial space. What is that space? What is it doing for the person? You could be creating a product. You can have a service. You can have beds in there. But at the end of the day, if you're not creating the right space and time and physicality for the human being, you will not be successful. And I, eventually it will crumble. Eventually, if it's not in 5 years and 10 years, that the empire crumbles if you're not looking after people. And so often greed and those metrics become such a forefront, and it really doesn't work. I mean, even after it could take a few generations, but eventually it becomes obsolete. You have to be people focused, and I think the metrics only come when you are. Then you can quantify, and then you really could be looking at the statistical data. But it only works when people are taken care of.
Yeah, I'm connected to some commercial real estate in the States. And I remember one year they for their tenants, a particular business in particular, they completely revamped 3 floors of the building at their own cost in order to maintain that relationship with that company for many years to come. So they had longevity in mind.
It is such a forward thinking and immediate and also in present thinking to do such a thing. Um, it also goes every time I walk a tenant or talk to a client or whatnot. You guys are partners. Everybody's a partner in this. So they benefit when you benefit. Their success is your success, and that goes for not only on a commercial point but also from a residential point. Is that they're the two they worked in they're married. you know you want somebody to feel good when they're renting an apartment or renting a space. You want it to be clean, you want it to work, function well, responsive to things, and to stay ahead of those things. If a tenant in a commercial building isn't doing well that year and they need help with rent, right? Do you kick them out and reposition and spend all this energy? No. You look at them as a partner, and you say, okay, how can we reimagine this rent roll? What could we do to benefit you right now? Because I know in the long run, your success and you being here is really what matters. That's the jux of it, is like, how do you look ahead and look right now and take care of the people, right there? And the economy changes and things change. You need to be a partner. Residential, commercial, you need to be a partner. You can't be out for yourself. You have to be out for each other. So that's a very forward thinking thing. And a lot of the spaces that my family's involved in, when times are bad, a tenant will come to the management and say, hey, we're not doing well. Our business is down X%. And the conversation is, okay, let's work with you. Let's reduce rent for now. And it doesn't necessarily need to be paid back. We rather have you here for the next 100 years. We'd rather see this business continue. And that's from all levels. Like having to go find new tenants and advertise and market and da 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 da. The cost analysis doesn't always work out anyway. So you want to work with people. You want to bring them to the forefront of it. People, 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 people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's really, in terms of positioning, that's what really makes you stand out because there's somebody to talk to.
For sure. For sure. You need to be an ear to this world, you know? You can't just be a voice and always having the last word. It doesn't work like that. We live in a world of this constant bridge between each other, and it needs to be going both ways. You know, we have to be willing to listen and react to those to the word, as human beings need to, and that transcends all spectrums of all things. um, you know, real estate, medicine, manufacturing, service-based stuff, it all. But in real estate, really, because it is a physicality and this, human part of it, you have to really open your ears and listen and react to that.
So since you're serving humanity or the human family, I'd love to move to
Yes,
family a bit.
please.
Your mission with Hello, My Beautiful World is to spark
Yes,
creativity and give children the emotional architecture to thrive, free of
100%.
judgment or labels. As a father living and working in a fast paced environment like LA, how do you practically bring those core pillars of love, laughter, and empathy into your own home to ensure your children are equipped to reach their highest heights?
Such a great question. And that is, each kid is such an individual, each human being is such an individual. And we have to focus in on time and allowing them to be creative little beings and letting them be storytellers. And when they want time with you, you carve that time out. You don't say no. I mean, not to the detriment of whatnot, but if you physically can, you're, even if you are tired, even if you had a bad day in whatever respect, your children need to see you as also a creative being, a creative light, to give them that opportunity to take that into their own lives and to continue that. So for us, it's every day it could be something totally different, an art project. We build Legos together. It's throwing a ball. It's talking about a new idea, a story that they have. What was a problem, or a problem, how did they solve a problem in school, and we talk about the solutions, and we talk about, did you help anybody, were you able to give something to somebody else in school, or on your team, and the greatest thing that we have in this world, in my opinion, is our time, right? And our kids need that. Our kids absolutely need time, right? We can throw money at everything to solve all these problems, da, 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 da. But the truth is like, without time, it becomes super irrelevant. You could be the wealthiest person on earth, but if you don't give your child the space and time to be, they're never going to grow, right? It is our job to enlighten them and to open this entire planet to see the possibilities, which are endless, and let them imagine the unimaginable. And I try to do that with my kids all the time, on 1,000 levels. And they're such different kids, right? So you have to be able to sway and move with their needs and their desires.
I absolutely love that because I'm an only child and I grew up in the arts, and nobody could get in the way of my creativity still today. Uh, Nobody can get in the way. Um, but it seems like a common story for people that as children, almost very early on, especially once we hit primary school, the adults seem to push us into this expectation of, right, removing us from that type of creative mind and to, I don't know, sort of pigeonhole us into the adult world, force us to grow up a lot quicker than we're even prepared for. Does that resonate with you?
100%. 100%. I think that it is so painful to watch and to hear of so many parents and so many adults trying to create these paths for young people that are so unnecessary, because the reality is that when you let people create and you let them imagine and let them be, what becomes of that is magnificent. um, and I think that going into this super digital, super AI world, I think that um, it's not necessarily scary to me. It's actually going to open up the ability for human beings to tap into those innate abilities, to give us the space and time to really work on these creative functions, whether it's music, art, whatever, even manufacturing. It is going to help us as human beings open up awareness and consciousness that is never been seen in mankind. And it's going to give us, especially young people, the ability to do things that were unimaginable, right? Like it's not scary to me. It's like, allow your kid to be so creative and so out of bounds in a sense, whether it's, theater or song, whatever it is, you give them that space. They don't need to sit in a class all the time, sit down, be quiet, be disciplined, da 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 da, chop 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 chop. No, let them be little butterflies of wonder, and let them imagine and create and get dirty and, wild. And it's okay, be loud, right? We need loudness. We need to not think inside this linear box, because life is not like this. And I think so often, to that question, is that parents want them to be on this line of, well, they're going to do da 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 da, and it's like, what? What? No. uh Life is an act, is like a play. It's a grand Broadway play, and it should be just all over the place, with the musical notes go like this, and there's a drop and it's okay. It's okay. And I think we're into this new space that is going to be magnificent if you let your child be that magnificent being.
Yeah, because life is so electric, right? Like you're describing,
It's
all right?
so electric.
Here and
Yeah.
there, forwards and back, up and down, constant
Oh,
movement.
I meant, and like for us in Los Angeles, one, it's sunny most of the days, so you have the outdoor to explore. So you're able to do so many things with the sky above you and the trees swaying and all these amazing things. And so you can tap into this beautiful, beautiful world that we have. And you know and then the possibilities of everything that's here, because it's such a magnificently big city with so many different amazing people, and the creative energy is on fire. Like, there's so many things. And also in Israel, by the way, I see it the same magnitude. It's magnificent to watch. Like, one of my nieces is a photographer, another one loves food, another one loves, this sports and this and da da da. And it's like, whoa. And it's magnificent. And the energy is so amazing in Israel, and the beauty is unimaginable. And so, yeah, we have to be able to, as parents, um, step out of our own inconsistencies, and our own weightedness from generations upon generations, and say, you know what? Our children are free to make their mistakes. They're free to make their decisions, and being creative little butterflies. Go out there, be creative, be kind. You need to be kind. You need to be giving. You need to be loving. And, you need to always think about the people around you. You know, you have to, you always have to also think about the people around you. You know, uh, I've been saying to my big kid, I say also to both of them, but my older son, it's so important to be authentic with your word, right? People really reflect on that too. So if you are going to be creative and you are going to be whatever you're going to be authentic. Be authentic to your heart, to yourself, show up, do your best. It's different every day. As we know, some days we're tired and grumpy. It's okay. Show up, do your best. Do your best every day, you know, but be kind to people, and that kindness will reflect back onto you. And your creativity is a reflection, like it really is a reflection on this magnificent world. Don't don't let us be adults, basically. You know, I have a friend that said it really beautiful to me, um, and I always think about this. He's like, when I look at people, I look at them like they're still in kindergarten. Like I'm looking at them at their 5-year old self, so I can really like dive into the child part of everybody. I was like, that's brilliant because we should never stop being that creative, you know, imagining the unimaginable person. Like that's life. Like you can be 105 years old and still, wonder what it's like to fly, and be a dolphin. It doesn't matter. Like it's just the beauty of the mind. It's like opening that consciousness, and that if you can help your child be open that awareness to this world, it's that's the gift.
Would you say that that is the key to be opening up through creativity to this consciousness? Is that connecting to something greater, like a universal consciousness of some sort?
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I think that is it is a pathway that opens up not only your intuitions, but absolutely is that you go like this. It's like whoa, and then you realize that this place space that we're in is just a fraction of the totality of everything, and it's so opening. Yes, the creativeness allows you to open up a higher consciousness and to realize that there is just one, and it's all connected. And when you realize that, it makes everything so much better. We're all connected. Everything that you do is a ripple of something else, and it's all coming together and flowing, and it's magnificent. And watching a child create allows your own consciousness also to be totally blown out, like you know it's amazing. um it's truly amazing. uh yeah. And I love the individuality of our children, of all our children's. There's just not one person alike, so the way they create is so different from everybody. It's so awesome. It's so awesome, but everybody's still connected yet, right? Like we're all so different, and so like we're all miracles, right? We're all these individual miracles, but yet we are all still connected. We're all still one, which is the absolute beauty of it, is that there's this beautiful bridge. It's amazing.
Yeah, you wrote a book featuring short meditations, like
Yeah.
designed to instill like a profound sense of self-love and internal peace.
Yes. um
But you noted that adults also needed this reminder, not just kids.
it's it's funny. My wife sent me a screenshot of a text that she had from a colleague, and the colleague, Tori must have brought the book to work and left it in their like reading library. And so this colleague texted Tori and said, wow, like this particular portion of the book changed my day and gave me something so deep to think about and to be. And I said, that's exactly what this is supposed to be. I'm not worried about the dollars and cents. What I wanted from this particular book, and it was the start of everything for me, was that it opened up the different spheres of being, and you begin to realize that, one, you're a miracle, you know, and that life in itself is an absolute beautiful miracle. And that you are such an individual and you're so unique that this entire universe, this entire being was created for you, right? And then you look at this beautiful earth that we have, that we aren't doing the greatest job. We're not the greatest, and not everybody, but that we have a job, that each of us has a job to do to make this world, this physical and this spiritual world, better, through physical work, but also through doing good things, and Judaism meets mitzvot and whatnot. And that's for all humanity, though. You know, everybody should be doing good things for each other. Um, and then the third portion was peace. This idea of, how do you bring peace into your life? Because it is it could be a super chaotic world, and there's all these things working against things, and you're being thrown curveballs, and it can be painful, But even throughout that pain, it's okay. It's all learning, and how do you bring peace into it? And then the final thing was the love part, and that's really having like a deep self love. You have to have a really deep self love. You have to know that you are so special and such a loving human being. And when you have that self love, back to this idea of reflection, it becomes an absolute reflection on everything. As a father, and husband, it's a reflection onto my wife. It's a reflection on my children. They see, and they catch that self love. Um, and yeah, it's a tool book, or a book to give you just an inspiration, you know. Um, yeah, it was it's funny. I went through so many iterations. Is that the right word? Of this particular book and art and da da da. And we settled on 4 images, because it wasn't even about the images. It was about somebody reading these words, putting them in their soul, and then putting it back out into the world. And it hasn't had the most commercial success, but I think every time I hear from somebody, or it changed somebody's day or gave them a different perspective, it becomes, to me, like, I feel like the richest man in the world. Like, I feel like Elon Musk times 10 billion. It's like, if you could just give even one human being the opportunity to have a little more self-love, understand how unique they are, etc., etc., you've essentially changed the entire world. So yeah, and I recently, not so recently, but recently recorded it with an amazing pianist accompanied to it, and it's a different level. You can listen to it now. You don't have to read it, and it brings in this totally different vibe, which is, it's amazing. Um, yeah, it was a life changer for me, like writing it was about for me. And then it was like, all right, I really want the world to experience this. Like, if all 8 billion people had this, like, I feel like we would all be so much better. you know we would all live in this just brilliant space. So yeah.
So where
Yeah.
can people find this book, and also
Oh,
this one with the piano accompaniment? This is
audio is on Apple Music, on Spotify, all, like, those streaming channels, and it's free. So go, please listen to it. It is so welcomed, and will absolutely light my heart on fire. And the book could be purchased on our website. And yeah, it's a I love it. I really, it's funny too. We went to print and it was missing a letter, and somebody who I really admire said, "Hey, did you know that there's a missing letter?" And I was like, "Yeah." So nothing is perfect. See, that was also something I learned. you know Nothing in this world is perfect, and it's our job to bring this, just to do better and better and more, and never stop trying. you know just never stop trying. Our kids see that our youth sees it, and they absorb it all. We become, just, we're all sponges. So yeah.
Well, Adam, you definitely live up to your namesake. Like Adam Arishon, right? You have the consciousness from seeing one end of the world to the other. And you know why he
Appreciate
was
that.
called Adam? Because he was made from Adama, from the earth. And what does the dirt represent? What does the earth represent? It represents the future. It's it's untapped potential. You're everything about building and growing in a creative way. And but more than that, you're inspiring.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I want to leave this world whenever that is, because who knows when it is. Just a little better, a little better. And if I know it's such like a cliched thing to say, but it's like, if each of us could do that, we just want to leave it a little better, like be a Boy Scout, clean up after yourself. You know, you see somebody, you see somebody that needs just a little extra love, just you give them to them. Smile at people. I tell my children all the time, guys, throw a smile. Throw a smile at somebody. You will change their entire trajectory. You know, it's small little acts. It doesn't have to be these monumental shifts. You're not going to shift the political system or, the way people eat. But your small acts do. We have massive amounts of potential to change the world every single day. you know be kind to people, be loving to yourself and loving to people. And that's what Torah gives us. It gives us an absolute guidebook, um, to humanity, and having the deepest trust in something higher, and just give it all. Give it all. It just be.
Well, I really appreciated our conversation, Adam. We could
Thank you
not
so
have done
much.
this episode of Masterful Leaders without you.
Appreciate you.
It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Same. Same. Have an absolutely beautiful day, week. And the world is super lucky to have you, um, on so many levels. But I absolutely enjoy always speaking with you. You are constantly enlightening me, and such a good teacher and such a good guide. Thank you for everything that you do.
You're welcome. Thank you for your
Oh,
kind words.
absolutely. Only good things to you.
On Masterful Leaders, we believe true success is built across every part of life, not just business. If this episode added value to you, subscribe, share it with someone you care about, and join us next time as we continue building the full package.